What's up everyone, it's the Law School Lumberjack here again with another video. Today we're going to be doing another installment of our LSAT tips series, and today we're going to be talking about answering point at issue questions. Now in this video, which will be a relatively short one, what we're going to do is discuss what a point at issue question is, some of the prompts that will tell you that it is a point at issue question being asked, and finally some tips on how to answer a point at issue question. So without further ado, let's begin. So a pointed issue question is generally fairly easy to spot. It involves two people or two groups of people discussing and debating a certain topic. Now, what generally will happen is there's going to be a lot of overlap between the two arguments, and what you're going to try and find is the place where these two individuals disagree, which is essentially the point at issue. So some of the prompts that denote a pointed issue question are, firstly and most easily, what do party A and party B disagree over? Secondly, party A and party B disagree over which of the following points? And thirdly, the above argument provides the most support that party A and party B would disagree regarding which of the following statements. As I previously alluded to, a pointed issue question will generally have a lot of things that the individuals either implicitly or explicitly agree with, and there's going to be one major topic that they disagree with, and your job is to find out what that point of disagreement is. So the point that the two parties disagree with should be explicitly stated in both parties' arguments. So an answer which deals with something that only one party talks about should be crossed out, and that's my first tip. If you see an answer which states something which isn't included in one of the parties' argument, it's not going to be the correct answer, or most likely won't be the correct answer. The second tip is cross out anything where the parties actually agree on. So if the parties' arguments overlap, and that's included in one of the answers, that answer is probably not going to be correct. Thirdly, and pretty obviously, is if there's something that both parties aren't talking about and it's irrelevant, cross that out. Number 4, make sure that your answer doesn't go too far or get too in-depth. So make sure that your answer is actually grounded in the argument. For example, if party A and party B are arguing about the color of the sky, one party says, I think the sky is blue, and party B says the sky is not blue, the correct answer would be that the parties disagree whether the sky is blue. The correct answer would not be whether or not the parties agree that the sky is black. So there's clearly a disagreement with the color of the sky, but make sure that your answer doesn't go too far in assessing the disagreement, or in other words, make sure that your answer is grounded by what is stated in the two arguments. Now, to really hammer this home, I'm going to put up an example and go through it with you guys. Somewhere here, I'm going to put up a sample pointed issue LSAT question. So the question essentially has Elaine first saying, the purpose of art museums is to preserve artwork and to make them available to the public, and therefore the museum should seek to acquire and display the best examples of artwork from each artistic period and genre, even if some works are not recognized by experts as masterpieces. Now, Frederick states, art museums ought to devote their limited resources to acquiring the works of recognized masters in order to ensure the preservation of the greatest artworks. Now, the prompt suggests that we should be looking for a pointed issue, so the question is, what is the disagreement between Elaine and Frederick's argument? So let's go through each of the answers to see why they're right or wrong. I'll give you a hint, B is the right answer in this circumstance, but let's go through each of them and see why they're right or wrong. I'll go through A, C, D, E, and then finish with B. So A, many artistic masterpieces are not recognized as such by art experts. That's not necessarily true. Elaine kind of hints at this, but Frederick doesn't really make reference to the fact that art masterpieces are not recognized as such by art experts, so that oversteps and therefore is not the correct answer. Now, C, art museums should seek to preserve works of art. Both Elaine and Frederick clearly agree with that in their arguments, so that's out. D is a bit irrelevant because it talks about unusual examples. No one really talks about whether or not the examples have to be unusual. Elaine just wants the best examples, and Frederick just says that he wants the greatest artwork. No one says anything about unusual examples, so that potential answer is one where there's a bit of irrelevancy, so we cross that out. And E, all artworks that experts identify as masterpieces are actually masterpieces. That oversteps a bit because Elaine's not disagreeing that some masterpieces that are identified are actually masterpieces. She's just saying that some may be missed, so that's overstepping and therefore is out. So now we're left with B. Now B is one that isn't clearly stated by Frederick, but it's implied and therefore is the correct answer. It's a bit of a weird answer, especially because this is question number 2 in an LSAT exam, so you wouldn't expect something to be as nuanced as this at the very start of an exam. But in any event, let's go through why B is the right answer. So clearly Elaine wants all genres represented. It's explicitly stated in her argument. Now, Frederick, on the other hand, states what he wants in the museums are the greatest artwork or the masterpieces. So what Elaine says, she wants a little bit of all genres, and implicitly, Frederick says, no, we don't have to include all genres, we just have to include the masterpieces because we have a limited budget. As a result, B is the best answer of the 5 and is therefore the one that should be chosen. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Take care. See you next time.